absurd seems completely sane.
Good evening, everybody. Today's lesson is how to become a successful trader. First step, you have to take losses. Second step, you have to take losses. Third step, you have to take losses. Fourth step, don't be stubborn about taking losses. Fifth step, don't hold overnights if you're taking a loss overnight. Sixth step, if you ever say to yourself, let's see what happens on a losing position, you will lose more money. So remember, when you can't remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, seventh step is to remember 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. All right? That's your lesson for the day. And I'm not even kidding about it, okay? Because today was one of those days where we came in and we had a few expectations. Now, it's not good to come into the market with a self-perceived notion or I guess that's pretty exactly what I was trying to say. You don't want to come into the day thinking something's going to happen, because that will alter the course of your day, because you're assuming something's going to happen, which will then maybe dictate the way you trade. Always come into the day fresh and new, expecting complete and utter chaos and to be frustrated and to be pissed off. But if you continuously use what works, you will cut through the frustration and make yourself a little bit of money. Now, let's talk about what happened today. Oh my God. Yes, you have to take losses. You remember, you have to take losses. And you never want to say, let's see what happens. But let's go back. We came in today after an extraordinary day, and the first thing I turned on CNBC this morning, they were talking about how this was the biggest turnaround from top to lows to the highs that we've seen since 2008. Does anybody put significance in it? Of course not, right? Nobody wants to come out on TV and say yesterday's move signified that the market has probably put in a short-term bottom that is tradable and we might be breaking out any day now. I'll be the guy because reversals are what make me money. Yesterday's day showed me that this market is ready to start. I don't know if we're going back to all-time highs next week or the week after or the week after. I knew that if this market gained some momentum, gained any steam today, that we would have a nice rally into the close, crushing and smoking the non-believers and the shorters into the close. Now, what I expressed to my guys this morning is, because we had such an extraordinary day, the law of modus tollens and diminishing returns, we're probably not going to go 17 for 17 again today, or whatever the hell it was that we did yesterday. We're not even going to probably see an active day. We're going to see a lot of consolidation. People are going to be backing and filling, otherwise known as selling and buying, and changing and churning and chopping and going back and forth and getting chopped up. You don't want to be a part of that kind of market because there's no follow through and you're probably going to lose money. Some people love that market. That's not my typical market. You know, obviously, if you bought on the small pullback and then you sold into the little bit of strength, you were able to do something. But I like to be someone that catches the momentum of a reversal, and I need a little bit of momentum and a little bit of energy and a little bit of volume to help that along. And we weren't seeing that in the morning. But today was a good day that we sat down and we went over all those rules and regulations that I drill into your head, and I should write the book. You know, I originally was writing a book. I don't know if you guys remember.
Where the hell is that shit?
You know, first it was gonna be called Blowjobs and Bollinger Bands. Then it was gonna be called Infinitesimally Small Balls, and the caption underneath is How One Trader Lost His Courage or Chutzpah. And then now I'm thinking about calling it This Is What Works, Dick. But I'll probably leave off the dick part because, you know, people get insulted so easily. So this morning we were talking about how we're probably going to see a boring day. But one of the lessons that I've learned over the last 15, 20 years is that you never short a dull market. Usually dull markets, they sit around, and they finally resolve themselves to the upside. So that was one reason we weren't really looking to go short today. Second was because of the monster intraday reversal yesterday. I was feeling very, very bullish today. But the most important part was watching the UVXY. Now I said, if this market goes up, down, or sideways, because we had the UVXY pop the other day, probably going to keep selling off, and it's probably going to disintegrate. Now, here's the thing. We didn't need the market to go up, down, or sideways. We just needed the market to be open today. As long as it wasn't getting hammered, you had to figure the UVXY, as it starts to erode, will continue to erode. So here's what was going on today. Our first trade of the day, as much as I bash and as much as I lay the hate on this UVXY product, guess what, kids? It was going green, and we're buying it. Simple as that. Breaks over the VWAP, goes green, we bought it. Boom! Made some money on the UVXY calls. Not the calls, sorry, the stock. Then it pulls back, breaks another new high, and we're thinking, uh-oh, this market might be looking like it might get a little bit, on the downside. So let's get back into that UVXY. Boom, 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 get your 15, 20 cents out of it. And again, we're just trying to make a living here. Don't be hypercritical. If you buy 500 shares of something and it goes up 20 cents in 92 seconds, why not take the $100? If somebody walks up to you, hey buddy, would you like $100? No, you keep it. That's what we do. So we did UVXY once for $80, and the next one we made $100. So we're up $180 so far on 2 trades on the UVXY. Woo! Then we see a couple of these disaster stocks, and you know I love disaster stocks. Normally I'm not a fan of buying these stocks that are getting slapped on the first day. Lesson learned in the MPLX. One of our friends was buying it that first day of the smackdown on the 20%. I was like, why don't you just give it a little time to breathe? Because once you give the stock a little time to breathe, it'll form a bottom for you. And then when it breaks over a previous highs candlestick, generally the shorts get a little nervous, and that usually coincides with a couple of day VWAP and usually an intraday reversal, and you might as well wait. But we were feeling excited. So there was a stock, RLYP. Never heard of it before. I saw the chart, absolute destruction. Stock starts to come around, breaks over the VWAP, we get involved. Thing spikes up quickly, we took a little bit off the table for a profit, and then we sat with it and we got stopped out for a loss on the last lot. Then it pulled back a little bit more, but it didn't really break down under the VWAP, so he's like, you know what, let's pick it up again. And lo and behold, the thing goes up 30 or 40 cents, and we're thinking, we're ready to buy more. Definitely going to be buying more if it breaks out. Next thing you know, we're getting stopped out for a loss anyway. Hence, I'm building the story. Remember, this is now 2 losses we've taken. We made some money on it once, and then we lost twice on it. Now, looking at the stock now, right? Getting stopped out at 16.20, and then again at 16.11. Stock closed at 14.21. So even though we lost money on those 2 trades, that was a successful trade because part of the business is you have to take losses. Don't ever say, let's see what happens. So once that stock's going down, we got stopped out, and that was it. Started breaking down, no reason to look at it. The stock, it's not working, we're moving on. We're moving on. And then the day became, that grinding, nothing going on. And I said, you know what, guys? Let's pick up some SVXY right now, because if this day stays grindy, choppy, inevitably the UVXY will go down, because the only time the UVXY goes up is in extreme volatile days where we're going, where the end of capitalism is happening, there's death in the air, and there's nuclear missiles being launched. You know what I'm talking about. The UVXY only goes up in extreme moments of desperation and fear. So we assumed at that point that this would be one of those days where the UVXY just grinds itself to death, so we put on the SVXY. And we decided at that moment, let's hang on to it. And we'll give ourselves a big stop. Lo and behold, it goes up, but then we put a stop on, a little trailing stop, and we got stopped out. So later on in the day, when we got a chance to get it back, we bought it back with the idea that we're holding it overnight. So we bought it back, we held it overnight. Now, in the midst of all that, we had the oil rally. Now, this was very sad and very frustrating because I was shorting the DWTI just on the 1-minute VWAP break earlier, and I took like a $2.25 loss on it, which is basically 1 tick. And then I was just kind of, leaving it alone. But then it started to break back under the multi-day VWAP, which was very exciting. And I tried to short 200 shares, and I got nothing. Next thing you know, it's down 4 points in a heartbeat. And you know the moral of the story. It proceeded to go down another 25 after that. So, but the only thing is, once the DWTI starts to tank, you got to start looking at oil stocks. So we got involved in the, I think it was APA, that's the Apache, or the APC. The APA, I forgot what it, again, I don't really have to know what these companies do. I just have a huge list of energy stocks, and they start rallying when oil starts rallying, and we got involved. Now, to my friend on Twitter who called me a fraud, and I don't have to defend myself, but I'd like to reenact what you think I should do. All right, this is the room where I'm broadcasting. The microphone's up here. This is my trading platform. Guys, this Mobileye is looking good here. MBLY. I think I'm going to pick it up if it breaks back over $29.10. Wait a second! Before I buy it, let me go to Twitter and tell these people I'm going to buy it. Hang on! No, in reality what we do is, all right, I'm picking up the Mobileye right here at $29.10, and I'm going to put a stop on to $28.75. All right, it's breaking $29.50. I'm buying a little bit more here at $29.50. Hang on a second! Let me go post it on Twitter that I just bought more Mobileye. Wait, let me scroll down. Let me leave my trading platform because I got to get this news out to all the fancy people on Twitter that I just bought some more Mobileye. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, as Mobileye breaks the $29.50 and it hit $29.89, we wound up selling some at $29.60, and then we held on to just a smidgen. See, when you got a smidgen, then I could actually go to StockTwits at 3.11 if you want to timestamp this bitch. When I finally did get around to putting something on StockTwits or Twitter, thanking the analyst, because you know how much I love when these analysts downgrade stocks that are down 50, 60 points or 80%, and they think it's a good idea. By the way, how's that GoPro downgrade working out for you there at $10, fella? We haven't seen $10 since your downgrade. And I know we can't really harp on condemn the analysts. We know they're all paid shills, and they know nothing more than anybody else. You do know that, right? So when I saw that Mobileye was downgraded, I was just sitting there waiting for it to go green because these idiots are they're a gold mine. And I know we could go back to the rig story where that guy downgraded and the stock went up $1 that day, and we were laughing, and then the stock proceeded to go to $8, exactly where that dude said it was going to go when it was at 24. He said it would be an $8 stock, so kudos to that guy. And I want to just say, hey, maybe you did know something, or maybe you just got lucky. But the bottom line is, I love it when there's a downgrade out there and the stock starts going up, because there's nothing more blatant than a stock going up in the face of a downgrade. That's some serious buying. The novices, the lemmings, are selling into downgrades, thinking that analysts know more than you. No, the only thing that knows more than you is the stock itself and what it's doing and if it's reversing. How would you not want to buy some Mobileye? This thing's going green, breaking yesterday's highs, breaking the other day. So finally at 3:13, I think that's when I posted. Wait, let me quote it. Hang on. We don't want to get in trouble now. Thanks for the downgrade today. Nice reverse upwards from $29.20. No intention of holding it, but nice trade so far. So you had to read really deep into that. That could have meant a million different things. That could have meant I have no intentions of holding it from that moment. Could have meant I don't have any intentions of holding it overnight, which, if you know me, that's what you knew I meant by the post. Or you could just ignore the post, because who gives shits what I'm talking about anyway? Because if you weren't in the stock from the original moment, what's the difference? That's like people who are getting email alerts and trading off email alerts. As much as it's great if you get an alert on your phone, you do realize sometimes the trade, Like, imagine I would have email alerted people to buy UVXY. And I did the trade at 9:42. And they get their email, it gets lost, and they, at 1 o'clock, oh, Kenny's buying UVXY. Let me buy it. Meanwhile, the trade's been over for 6 hours. That's why stock twits and Twitter. Are there people that actually just post, I'm getting into, because I never see this. I'm always criticized that I don't do it, but I never see it. I never see, I'm about to buy this stock right here at 31.10, looking for it to go to 32.63 in 9 days. I don't think I've ever seen a post, but apparently that's what everybody wants. No, more or less it's, hey, this stock's moving. Wow. I hope you're not short. LOL. Wow. Analyst got it wrong this time. Stupid analyst. LOL. That's what you get. That's what you get. This chart looks good. For what? And the guy that's laughing, and you know what? You should be laughing. You should be laughing that we only had 22 people in the room today. There should be 17 million people trading with me. Because, once again, using the powers of risk management and proper skills involved with the VWAP and the reversals, we turned a boring day into a pretty profitable day. Now, of course, if the SVXY gaps down 5 points tomorrow, which it's not going to, I'm going to take a little bit of a hit because I held the SVXY overnight and I finally bought back the Qs. Oh no! I haven't owned the Qs now since, in any meaningful position since November. And it was a great out in November. We sold those calls, which are still shit. Those January 2017 115 calls, they're still in the trash heap. It would have been nice if I would have held the March 104s that we had bought a couple of weeks ago, but we didn't. So now I got some QQQ, I got some SVXY, and I think you know the other stocks that I own, the POT, the Joy Global, the US Steel, the Alcoa, the FCX, and a little bit dribs and drabs of that stuff, the FEYE. I don't plan on selling any of these stocks. My attitude towards these stocks right now, I've got maybe 200 or 300 shares, I got 600 shares of POT still. If the stock breaks 52-week lows, I'm out. That's it. If any of these stocks roll over again and start breaking down, there's where I'm going to sell. But for now, up, down, up, down, up, down, I think POT's going to be a $20 stock. Whether it's next week, 2 weeks, 6 months, or 3 years, I think I got a better shot of POT, P-O-T, Potash of Saskatchewan. I have a feeling, I believe, I have my powers of analytics and fundamental analysis. I think the stock will be 20 before it sees 12. So it's at 16. Basically, I don't even know what the 52-week low is, the all-time low. Chances are if it breaks into 1350, I'd probably dump it. But I think the stock's going to be a $20 stock, so I'm hanging on. FEYE, bad numbers came out, the stock went up. Bought the FEYE. Twitter, we already sold the Twitter. But there was another point I wanted to make. And I don't even remember what it was. Because we just jump around from topic to topic. And that's what we do in the room. And now listen, guys. And again, if you want to know why there's only 22 and we only have around 30 members, it's because I am only letting people in the room that I talk to. And if you don't know, generally I sit in front of the computer, and I'm one of the old school guys. I'm sitting there pretty much watching the computer all day. I'll step out for some lunch and I'll tend to some shit, but I do not have the time to start cold calling or calling the 3,000 people, and I have 3,000 people that have come through the Suck My NASDAQ, Hit the Bid family over the last 7 years. 3,000 people. My question is, where the hell are you? Because I know what I'm doing. I guess you don't know what you're doing, and I know it. I used to have a crew, and I think I told this story before. We used to have a whole crew in there. What's up? Uh-oh, she's back. Look at her. Remember she was only this big sitting over there? what happened, I had a crew of, let's say, about 25, 30 people on my original website. We were a pretty tight-knit group. And they were so insulted that I went over to the T3. I went over to T3, and they felt like I was trying to rob them in some way. I was like, what are you talking? I was like, it's the same thing here at T3. At least you were going to be able to hear not just me. You'd be able to hear 7 other people talking into microphones about how smart they were, and they just got really just offended by the whole thing. I don't know what happened. Kenny left us. He doesn't care a shit about us. And then when I reformed, hit the bid, and also sucked by NASDAQ. Don't forget, the original website was sucked by NASDAQ, which we had a whole ton of members. And then when the NASDAQ came for me, they sued me and the whole thing, and I shut the website down, people just disappeared. Now, I understand there's some people that just blew themselves up, because I've heard that story, the 6-monitor guy, my friend I had this other guy in Sweden, and a couple of guys in California, and I understand, and they send me email every once in a while. But you know what? If you're still out there and you haven't checked out the room yet, especially you skeptics, don't you want to prove my bullshit? Don't you want to call this bullshit out and just be in the room? Because today there was nothing going on. So if you came between like 9:30, actually I can't say there was nothing going on because we did make 2 profitable trades in UVXY long in the beginning of the day. But after that there was RLYP, which we wound up taking a loss on, the third one. And there was one more. Oh well, we tried to buy GoGo today. And if anybody ever mentions that stock to me ever again, I will find you and I will kill you. That is the worst stock. I mean, we're so lucky that we got in, when it broke that IPO price of 13, we rode that thing up to 30. Remember, everybody was talking about GoGo. Worthless garbage. Just like Fitbit and your GoPro. How's that Fitbit working out for you? Still waiting for it to squeeze back to $30? You see the CEO? He just exudes confidence, doesn't he? Oh, that's the story I wanted to tell. Nah, I won't even tell that one. So what else was there? Oh, the WMB, you silly bitch. That's right. Made money on it, and we decided to hang on to it. Next thing you know, it tanked. Then it comes out of a halt to spike up just after we sold it. Oh, the nightmare of it all. And we just got hammered coming and going on WMB. There he is again. Some people say I should never mention taking losses. And I was like, that's irresponsible. Part of this business, I think I might have mentioned, the first 6 rules of this business is you got to take losses. You got to be disciplined enough to take the loss. Now, I know it hurts. Oh, it hurts. When you sell something and then 10 minutes later it's back up, or 2 days later it gets taken over. I've experienced all that. 6 months I was buying options in some semiconductor stock back in my younger days. 6 months, $10,000 a month worth of options waiting. Because it's just this company, the description of this company matched this other description of this other company that just got taken over by AMAT. I'm like, this one's probably going to get taken over too. 6 months I'm buying options in this thing. Nothing. 60 grand. Down the tubes. Expiration. Oh, no takeover. The 1 month I don't do it, the day of expiration, which is the sickest thing because the options were a penny, thing gets taken over with a 17-point premium. Pfft. So you can't hurt me. You can't hurt my feelings. I was in Enron. I got stocks getting taken over. Nothing phases me anymore. Think I give a shit? The bottom line is, you got to take losses. You got to stay disciplined. Because if you're trying to do this every day, which is nuts, but you can do it. But you can't turn a $20 loss into an $80 loss into a $500 loss into an investment, because that's how it happens. You buy 500 shares of a stock you don't know about. It starts going up. You're like, yeah, all right. Then it starts going down. And it breaks the point where you bought it. And you're like, it's just pulling back a little bit. Next thing you know, it starts to break down. Well, you know you should sell it, but you say to yourself, let's see what happens. and you just disobey everything that you ever, oh, it's breaking VWAP and it's reversing. Normally I'd be shorting the stock. I'm not going to sell it here. Well, I was up $400 on this trade. Now I'm down 120. Oh, now I'm down 240. Now it's 330 now. I'm not going to sell it now. I guess I'm holding it overnight. And what happens the next day? Gaps down. So you just turned a $400 profit, which was an $80 loss or $120 into a $400 loss. Now it's down $1,200. You're sure as hell not going to sell it now, right? That's when you say, oh yeah, I'm stuck in some stock. No, you're not. I'll come to your house. I'll open up your account and I'll hit the sell key for you if that's what it takes. You're never stuck in a stock. Because if you're getting 10 Qs and 10 Ks and you're listening to the conference call and you're taking notes where 3 months ago you had no idea what this company is. Now you're a fucking shareholder telling your friends about it. Oh yeah, this company does great things. Yeah, they got this cat rectum scanner. It's fantastic. I mean, how many people want to scan their cat's rectum, for worms and stuff? This is going to be huge. Huge, I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm down 12 grand in it right now, but it's going to be huge. Fucking huge. That's what happens. And next thing you know, your account and your career is over on some bullshit stock that you didn't want to take an $80 loss on.
Let's see what happens.
Don't see what happens. Rip the Band-Aid off. Rip it. Rip it. Because trust me, I'm in one of those right now. I mean, I only got 200 shares, and I figured, hey, what's these last 200 shares, right? Now, 200 shares of a $10 stock is $2 grand. So if the stock goes to zero, I'm down $2 grand. It's at 4 right now. You know what I'm talking about. SPCB. Yeah, thanks a lot for that one, fella. You know who I'm talking about. And I was up nice on this thing. I was up 40, 50% on this trade. And then it rolls over, does a secondary, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't want to give up on the company. I'll just hang on to 200 shares. Next thing you know, it's down at 4. It goes down like 2 cents every day.
I'm not going to sell it now.
But if you do that with every trade, you'll be done within weeks. All right. So on that note, recap the beginning of the video. Make sure you know how to take a loss. Don't be stubborn. And God bless. Good night. And I'm going to start making a lot more videos just in case I can't make videos anymore. And just in case I ever have I spontaneously combust. I want to have my face out there. Guys, and if I ever do just not show up for months and you do find out that I have had some, run-in with the Grim Reaper, it's been a pleasure hanging with you guys. And I hope that I've helped you, and I hope that I've taught you something. And I hope for God, for the love of God, if you're really curious, show up. Oh, that's right. Now I remember what I wanted to say. I heard somebody called me out in one of their videos. And it wasn't Greg Mananier. It wasn't Just Joe. It wasn't Bang Him and Leaving. I think it was the Silver Gold Man. Now, I don't even know who the Silver Gold Man is. I guess he buys silver and gold. I know there's this whole feud going on. I've lost track. Tacos Mananeros, Gregory Mananero, Silver Gold the Gay Man, somebody else, somebody this. He called me a scam artist. What did I do? I never even spoke of you, ever. What happened? Did I do something to upset you? Have I ever mentioned you in a video? No, I don't think so. The only person I ever made fun of was Greg Mananier, and I did that as a favor to somebody else that told me that the guy's the worst person on the internet. And I hate doom and gloom, doom porn guys. That's all the reason we were making fun of Greg Mananier. Now, I don't even know who the Silver Gold Man is. But you got a problem with me. You know what I say? Trade off. Trade off. $5,000. We'll give it a month. Doesn't even have to, if you want to, we'll put some parameters out there. Trade off. Whoever wins gets the money. And you gotta suck a dick. Nah, we can leave that part out. Because that's something I hear you're into. So it would be a lose-lose situation for me. It'd be a win-win for you, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Because I think he's a homosexual, right? I'm not calling you a homosexual, but I that's what I was told that you are. So, a dick suck at the end of the contest would actually be something that you'd be, excited about. So let's just stop this conversation right now. But if you do have something to say, show up to the room, because I think you thought that I was in your room, because I got that time to go into other people's chat rooms and talk shit, because that's what I got time to do. Oh, yeah! I don't normally do this, but my daughter was in the video, so she wanted to watch the video. So we didn't watch the whole thing, but I just went through it, and I find it really, really funny and very, very matrixy. That's a word, because we're all in the matrix. I randomly put in the call me, email me, and stock Twitch thing just in the video timeline, right? And it was amazing. I just got done bashing Twitter, and it says follow me on Twitter. It's so funny. I don't even know why I'm on Twitter. I think I just like communicating with other people because I've only caught grief over the last 4 or 5 years. Nothing but grief. Let's say 98% grief. There are people that say, hey, nice call, or hey, they have some constructive criticism, not just hate and awfulness and, just bile. But I just found that pretty funny. All right. Have a good night.